Okay, so now we're going to use the Boolean operation to create a face. And so what I want to do is come over here, go back to my standard primitives, and I'm going to create a nose and eye sockets, and then eyes. We can also create a mouth if we want. So it's all the same exact process. So I'm going to start with a cylinder, and remember I checked AutoGrid in the previous video. So this should allow me to draw a cylinder, and it is. You can see it's allowing me to draw this cylinder on the surface of the character that I created here. There's his nose. And it's you can see it's at the angle of his face. Now I'm going to move this. Whoops. I want to move this. Okay, it's not going to let me because it's auto-gridded. Let me try something. It's only going to go one way. Okay, so here's what's concerning me. See that little gap right there? It's going to create issues when we Boolean that. Okay, well, I think about what I want to do. Let's just go ahead and create a sphere over here for the eye socket. That works. Okay, so what I've done is I created this sphere right here. I'm going to subtract this from the head to create an eye socket, and then I'll put an eyeball in that eye socket. Okay, so I want this shape over here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select this sphere. I'm going to hold down my Shift key on my keyboard. Still in my front view. And I'm going to grab that red arrow only because I want to clone in this direction. Let's see. Make sure it's the right spot. There we go. Okay. Now, when I've done that, it's going to say clone options, object, copy, instance, reference. This is what these mean. Okay. Cloning is when you duplicate something. It's pretty cool term, right? Cloning. So we're going to clone the object. Now, once you've cloned it, you have a choice of whether you want a copy, which is an independent. It's like the best way I can describe it is like pretend we're making twins, and the copy is a fraternal twin. They look alike, but they are still independent of each other. Basically, once I make this copy, they are no longer attached in any way. They look alike, but whatever I do to this, say whatever I do to this shape, does not impact this shape. On the other hand, if I select instance, whatever I do to this shape, 99% of the time is going to do this shape. Sometimes it doesn't. But for the most part, if I scale this, it will scale that one. If I apply a modifier to this one, it will apply it to that one. So you have to decide early on, am I going to make a copy or I'm going to make an instance, and it depends on what you want to do with it. If you want them to act independent of one another, copy. If you want to save yourself time and do to one what you're going to do to the other, make it an instance. Reference is simply something that's a reference point that doesn't actually it doesn't actually do anything. You're just using it there as a placeholder. Okay? And then you can also tell it how many copies you want. In this case, one is all I want. Okay, and so I now have these two spheres that I can subtract from my object. All right, let's see if I can figure out how to detach this. I want to move it in a little bit. There we go. Okay, so it wasn't letting me do it in this view, but now I just moved it in. I wanted that overlap. I wanted to get rid of that gap. It's better to have your object stick inside a little bit than it is to have it stick out, because that was going to be a problem before. Okay, so now let's select our character, come back over here and go to compound objects, go back to Boolean, and we're going to union and add the nose. Oops. Let's try that again. Boolean. Add operands. I'm sorry, I didn't do that. Click that button. Okay. add operands. And now you see it has added the nose to the object. So that is now, and you know that it's done it because it changes the color of it to match the original object. Okay, so I want to add another operand, but this time I want it to be subtract. So I'm going to click off of all this. See, I've got nothing highlighted over here. If you change the operand without turning or clicking off of these, it will change the last operand you added. Okay, so we're in this, we're adding operands, and we're going to change. It's just easier, I think, to select it and then change it to subtract over here. Subtract. And you see that it's now erased and erased. So we now have these voids inside the face. Click off of it. Okay, and now I have my character that I have joined together as one object. And you can keep going, and obviously you want to keep going. But this is how you essentially create a character using primitives, modifiers, and Boolean operation. And now let me show you a really cool modifier. Okay, so unclick add operand so we can get out of this. Select and move. And I'm going to come over here in my modified tab and go to Turbo Smooth. Now, this isn't perfect because it did some weird stuff with my eyes and weird stuff with my nose. And it did that weird stuff because I didn't have proper edges on my objects. And so it did some weird stuff. But let's add a couple more iterations. Okay, so you see as I'm over here adding under the Turbo Smooth, as I'm adding iterations, it kind of resolved some of that. Still not right, but be careful though. You will crash your computer if you do too many of these. This computer is a gaming machine, so it allowed me to do that without having a heart attack. But yeah, it created some weird stuff here. I'm not quite sure why. Usually this works better than this. This is one of the dilemmas of 3D Studio Max. You will do something 100 times. You'll do something 100 million times. And it will work the same way every time. And then that one more time that you do it, 101 time you do it, you'll see something you've never seen before. And I've been using this software since 1999. Okay, and usually this has worked very well and I haven't seen it do this. So, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to go back to, I'm going to turn this off. I'm going to go back here. I'm going to go to my operands. And I'm going to remove operand. Now, I'm going to try something else. I'm going to try to use the geosphere. Okay? So let's go back. Standard primitives, geosphere. And we'll put the geosphere right there. Let's see how this does for us. Now, again, I'm watching all my views to make sure this is positioned correctly. Okay. And then I'm going to hold down my Shift key. I'm going to copy this over here. Okay. And let's try this again. Let's go back to Compound Objects, Boolean, and I'm going to select Add Operands, and subtract, and subtract. Okay, click off of that, and let's go back to my Modify tab. Oh, have to add the Turbo Smooth again. Oh, it's still doing something weird. Okay, well, it's not working very well for this. Now, here's the thing. Yeah, it's the only way to fix it. I don't want you guys crashing your systems by doing too many iterations. Let's try this instead. If you want to get rid of a modifier, you just right click on it and delete it. Let's try something else. We have there we go, just a regular smooth. Of course that didn't do what I needed it to do. There we go. And auto smooth. Nope, it didn't do that either. Okay. Nothing's working. And this is going to happen to you. This is going to happen to you. So it's a good thing this is happening to me, so I can show you how you just have to try things to problem solve to get them to work. Or while you're learning, y'all, please, when you're watching these videos, write down any questions you have and email them to me. I can do multiple things. I can just answer them to you immediately, or I can create a video specifically for you and show you how to fix this. Or I can share it with everybody. Okay, so let's try another thing. Let me see if this works, and then I'll tell you what I did. Make sure I'm about to run out of time here. We got about 3 minutes. Oh, that didn't work either. It's funny, nothing's working. I have literally never seen this not work before. This is not going to work. Oh, there we go. I fixed it. Okay, let me show you what I did. So you have the Boolean operation that you have created. And then right above that, I've added a modifier called turn to poly. Okay, it's down here, turn to poly. And you'll understand more what that is once we get to polygon modeling. Check keep polygons convex. Okay, then add your turbo smooth. And then add a couple iterations and you'll be good to go. And now it works exactly as it's supposed to. It has smoothed out the edges to create. It's not perfect. And you guys aren't going to use this to model long term. This is just a way to start learning how the program works. We're going to get into polygon modeling and you mostly won't work this way. You'll use the Boolean operations to join shapes together, and then you'll convert those to polygon models and go from there. Okay, so I'm going to stop this here, but that's the solution. Turn to poly, check the keep polygons convex, and then add your turbo smooth and a couple iterations, and it will do enough that you need to for this assignment. And then we'll move into polygon modeling after this, and you won't have to worry about that again. But for this assignment, I want you guys to keep it simple, work with the basics, and create your characters. Okay? Let me know if you have any questions. I'm happy to answer them. You are not bothering me. Okay? Ask questions. That's what I'm here for. Okay? See you in the next video.